In this lecture, we'll talk about change management process. I'm assuming that every organization has a change management process of some sort. I mean, the companies I've worked in all had a mature change management process, and most of them had tailored the ITIL guidelines to meet their needs and requirements. And of course, it depends upon the size and budget of an organization as well. At the bare minimum, there should be a process to request for change. Request for change can be raised through an information technology service management tool used in the organization, or using a template outlining the requirements for change, dependencies, impact assessment, and so on. The next component is impact analysis. Once change is requested, there should be some sort of mechanism to undertake technical and security assessment of the changes proposed in the existing system. This can be carried by engaging with subject matter experts and security managers within the organization. The third component is change advisory board. Approves or denies proposed changes, and the representatives should be service owner, subject matter experts. For example, if the change is proposed in an email system, then a representative who is an expert in the email system of the organization should be member of the change advisory board, as well as change manager and change coordinator. The fourth process is obviously implement change. Depending upon the type of change, this can be completed as a business as usual activity or through establishment of a dedicated project to implement proposed change. And lastly, there should be some sort of mechanism to review and report the outcome of the change, and of course update the configuration management database once everything is complete. That's change management process in a nutshell. We'll go into the details of some of them in subsequent lectures. Some of the recommendations to implement good change management process are standardization. Efforts should be made to follow a standard approach to change management. It is not always possible to follow each and everything from guidelines such as ITIL, and it is always better to tailor it to meet the needs of your organization. Create a template if possible to do so. Templates are handy tools to use, especially if the task is repetitive. Get the right people involved. As you have heard the saying, too many cooks spoil the food. Always better to put some effort to identify the right people to engage in relation to the change being proposed. This is especially a big problem with bigger organizations because sometimes it is hard to find out who does what in such organizations. Minimize cumbersome process. Less process is always good, as people tend to find shortcut to do things if it takes too much effort and time. And it is recommended that all changes are raised using a service management tool. Different organizations have different ways of dealing with change, and processes vary depending upon the type of change as well. If it's a standard change, which are basically minor and major changes, it should be raised through service desk ticketing system. Non-standard changes, there are different processes depending upon the organization. Some organizations still prefer it to be raised through their enterprise ticketing system, and some have a different approach to managing such type of change. And if you are not sure where to start, and depending upon the change management maturity of the organization, it is always better to refer to how things were done in the past, look for a pattern in the change, and try to work out the process for the new change. I hope this helps, and in the next chapter we'll go through the change management roles. Thank you.